Welcome to you all to be here today with us. As one of the events for the Research Data Management Week, while research data management is of growing importance in the academia, UGC may impose new rules in the coming cohort, coming academic year. So everyone maybe get excited of what is going on. And today's topic, so we are organizing the Research Data Management Week to arouse the attention of all school university members on research data management. And some topics will be of your interest on how to work on research data management. And today's topic is effective use of the CUHK Research Data Repository. And CUHK Research Data Repository, as you can see from this link, is our institutional research data repository, our institutional research data repository. So you can scan the QR code here or just type researchdata.chk, then you can go to our repository and have a look. At the same time, this is the link for the PowerPoint slide of today. This is the link to the PowerPoint slide and the QR code. You can download it. Yes. And our objective today is we will first of all talk about what types of research data repository there are in the world and what are the features of the CUHK Research Data Repository, and how to publish and share data, how to deposit data for peer review, which is a very important process for your manuscript to be published. And at this point, you do not want your data to be released to the public. So what happens to this point? We will emphasize this. And at the same time, as many of you will be are very busy, you have some research assistant for you to work with, and they can help with you on the research data. So how you can grant rights to them for working on your data to deposit the data in the data repository. And we will also introduce some advanced features. We will try to go through one by one. If you have your computer with you, you may try to work at the same time, but I may go a bit faster because we only schedule 1 hour for this session. But at the same time, don't worry, with this PowerPoint, all the steps are there. So go back with this PowerPoint, you can go through all the steps slowly, and it may take you 1 or 2 hours again to follow all the steps. So no worry if you can't follow all the steps, because all the steps are in the PowerPoint. And at the same time, we have a library guide, a library website on data repository, and we have a lots of details. All the details that you can work on the research data repository are on the library guide, and it is the most updated one. The PowerPoint thing you have today is updated, but after a few months, it may not be updated, but the library guide, the library website is the most updated one. So just keep an eye on our library website on the most updated features on the research data repository. So back to here, to talk something general. What are the types of data repository? We have general data repository that different types of data could be deposited. And at the same time, there are discipline-specific data repository. For this, you may think about some protein or DNA or genome data repository. They are very specific to certain topic in the academia, in the research field. Chemistry have their own data, and astronomy has their own data repository, and so on and so forth. So if you are thinking to deposit your data, you first of all have to think about which data repository I will deposit. Will you deposit your data in our institutional data repository, that is the CUHK Research Data Repository, or would you like to deposit your data on some discipline-specific data repository? If we have the institutional repository, I would not suggest you to further deposit your data to some general one, because you can make your profile on our CUHK Research Data Repository. If you are depositing in our data repository and not if not in the discipline one. So with there are some special features for our CUHK members to work on, so that you can feature your profile, and you can filter in the future. You can also feature the links on your websites, on your departmental websites, or even in the aims. Now we call it the research portal, and a year later it will be changed to a new IRIS project. So you will have another institutional profile for you to feature your work. So so with the institutional data repository, you can feature a lot more on your own profile. And for general data repository, here are a series of general ones. Dataverse is the one I would like to emphasize. Dataverse is developed by Harvard, and it is an open source software. And our CUHK Research Data Repository is also based on this open source software, Dataverse. So when you click to the Harvard Dataverse repository, you can see that the layout is very similar to ours. But we are installing our data repository on our local on campus. So our storage is not back to Harvard University, but our CUHK Research Data Repository store our data locally. And of course, we are also developing to have a cloud backup storage. So these are some general data repository. Other than that, here are some discipline-specific data repository, biobank or biomedical. Others are some social science, genetics, and so on and so forth. If you are on these schemes or on this research area, you can think about whether you would like to deposit your data in this discipline-specific data repository or our CUHK Research Data Repository. And back to, for this workshop, we focus on CUHK Research Data Repository. And I would like to, first of all, let you know more about the development on data deposits at CUHK. So the research data team members here are now working under the library, but also working under the Committee on Research Data Management. So which is under the research committee of the university. So we have the Committee on Research Data Management to oversee all our projects. And the committee has formalized, set up a guideline on research data management. And this is a guideline which covers the policies, the data planning, data deposits, data sharing, and so forth, so on and so forth. So when you go to the library website, mouse over research support, and then mouse over, you can see research data service here. And if you click research data service, this tab, you will see the guideline, and you can see the full document around 4 to 5 pages. And in this guideline, I would like to highlight the parts on data sharing and access. So data should be shared in a openly as possible on the CUHK Research Data Repository or the subject discipline repository. On the other hand, you also have to preserve your data, and you can share it in a data repository to preserve it, and with the minimum retention period of 5 years. Whether you will further store it after beyond 5 years, it depends on your choice. It depends on whether you think the data is valuable to preserve it for permanency. So you have the decision on that. But we are suggesting the minimum retention period is 5 years. And at the same time, we would suggest you to deploy some minimally restrictive and voluntary common use license. And for our CUHK Research Data Repository, we are using the CC BY-NC as a default license for your data. You can change it, but we set the CC BY-NC. CC is the Creative Commons license, which is I think all of you have heard about copyright. Creative Commons is part of the copyright license, and then CC BY means someone else can use your data. Someone else can use your data, but they have to give credit to you. They have to cite you when they use your data. And NC is non-commercial. And they can use your data by giving credits to you and with non-commercial purpose. Okay, so the default license in our CUHK Research Data Repository is CC BY-NC. And you can change it, but we would strongly suggest you to make it less restrictive and voluntary common use license. Of course, you have to mask up data which are sensitive, or having some confidential information about your patients or your clients. You have to mask up all those information or anonymize those information before you share your data. That is another topic about the general information about research data management that we usually discuss it in the workshop, understanding research data management. And for this one, facilitated access to data for approved research. If data cannot be openly shared, you may also allow the researchers to contact you. That after you can talk to him via email or so on and so forth. And then if you think it's possible for some collaboration, you can share the data with them, even you do not openly share the data. So our CUHK Research Data Repository has a button for the users around the world to contact you, but without knowing your email. We are not opening your email address or your contact email address, but they can contact you via a form. Okay? So this is to protect your personal information, but we hope if there is any communication between the user and the dataset owner, that will be good. So we are doing something to facilitate this. And it would be good for you to share some embargoed data or restricted data with someone who have approached you and you approve it to be shared. And anonymizing any human subjects data that is sensitive or confidential. This is important. And for UGC, they also ask researchers to share the data in a timely manner. And in the completion reports, they also the UGC also asks you to state in which data repository you deposit the data. And even if you choose to deposit not to choose deposit your data in our data repository, we strongly encourage you to deposit your data into a data repository which is trustworthy. For trust, it is a principle for data developing a data repository that the data repository should be transparent, should be responsible, should be user-focused, sustainable, and technology up-to-date. So if you are not depositing your data in our data repository, think ahead if the data repository you choose is under the trust principle. And back to our data repository. So this is the link to our data repository, and it is based on open source, and we have started it in 2021. And at that time, we, the library, upload all the data for the users. But then we allow more freedom for you and more let you initiate all your tasks and manage your own data as well as data folder. So we set up the SSO, single sign-on with one pass. You can log on and deposit your data deposit your data as well as manage the data by yourself. And at the same time, we have the data DMP2 service, the data management plan service on DMP2. So in the data management plan on DMP2, you can state that you will deposit your data in CUHK Research Data Repository. It is listed in DMP2, and you can choose our data repository as a potential data repository for data preservation in the future. And probably this is the greatest question. We have research portal. I think most of you, if you are working for research, whether you are a professor or just a staff around supporting research, you also know this research portal. So what is the difference between the research portal and our CUHK Research Data Repository? The most important thing is for the research portal, we call AIM. It is for research output, such as journal articles and books. Journal articles and books. That's you write your journal articles, books, PowerPoint slide, poster for presentation at conferences. All this will be noted and recorded or even deposited a free version, open access version on AIMS, on research portal. But for our data repository, we only focus on data. So what is data? Data could be the results from experiments, some Excel file, or some kind of notes, formalized or structured notes. It can be measurements from your fieldwork, programs, software programs. For after you collect your data, you probably will use some write up some program using Python or R to analyze your data. Remember, those programming code are also part of data, so they can be deposited in the data repository. And other than that, interview scripts, survey, and also images or videos. These are the data that you can deposit in the CUHK Research Data Repository. Other than this, we think the articles, books, poster, PowerPoint slide for presentation, they will be deposited in the research portal. Is this clear? So this is very important to differentiate the two parts, because we do not want here, we have those journal articles or other things, because we have to differentiate the two places, although they are interconnected. And for the research life cycle, we have the research life cycle planning, undertaking, publishing, and disseminating research. At the same time, the data life cycle is produced, created. With data management plan, data are stored, collected, and analyzed, and then published and preserved in a data repository. And in the CUHK Research Data Repository, we have a series of features that you can that can help you to support your work. For example, the single sign-on, that is the one-pass login. One-pass login. After login, if you are a faculty member or research staff, teaching staff, research staff and teaching staff, you have been granted a right to work inside your departmental folder. We will talk about this soon. And we support open search on Google, on any search engine. So data that is deposited inside the data repository could be searched via the Google search engine. Remember, this is not possible for some data repository. For example, Mendeley data is not possible. But for Dataverse and for our CUHK Research Data Repository, the data sets deposited are also could be searched by the search engine. And we have DOI for data sets. Remember, you have DOI for your manuscript. So for data sets, when someone else uses your data sets, they also have to cite you. Okay, there are two things. When you write your article, manuscript, that is one thing. You have the DOI for your manuscript. Okay. On the other hand, when someone else uses your data, accessing your data for their own research, they have to cite you with the DOI of the data set. Okay. And then we also allow users to upload data up to 3 GB. Each file could be up to 3 GB. If you have files even larger than 3 GB, please contact us. Send an email to our team, then we will deposit the data for you. We can deposit the data for you. But on the user interface, we only accept data file. Each file is up to 3 GB. And then data be deposit for peer review, managing folder by yourself. We can also support guestbook and can allow, if you have some restriction to your data downloading, then users around the world can access or contact the dataset owner. And we also provide a file flexibility checksum for users to check, and even you to check whether the file you upload is exactly the same as the original file, or if there is any distortion during the transfer. Okay, and we have a library guide. And before going into the actual step in working inside the data repository, we have to learn the structure of our CUHK Research Data Repository. In fact, you can think there are many folders inside the CUHK Research Data Repository. The CUHK Research Data Repository is itself the biggest folder. It hosts the 8 faculty folder, and then also the research units, which are the university research units, and also the other units. For example, library, art museum. We have put them there, add them to the other units. So under each faculty, we have created for each department or school a folder. Okay, so for researchers, for example, under Department of Finance, if you are research staff and teaching staff, okay, research staff and teaching staff, under finance, they are automatically given rights to work inside this folder. Is this clear? And be aware of that only research and teaching staff. If you are administrative staff, you have no rights to do so. But if you would like to work on that, for example, if you are project coordinator, you have no such rights. But if you are research assistants, you have such rights. Okay, the difference is this. If the project coordinator would like to work for his supervisor can create a personal folder like this. Under the departmental folder, creates a personal folder. And for this folder, the supervisor can grant the project coordinator to work inside this folder, can grant him rights to grant the project coordinator to work inside his own folder, but only inside the personal folder, but not the departmental folder. Is this clear? So under each department, research and teaching staff can automatically create personal folder like this. Creates personal folder, and then he can further structure the whole thing under his personal folder. He can directly deposit data or can further develop subfolders of projects to further divide the data sets inside the subfolders. So this is that is the structure of the whole data repository. And for this, you can see that here it tells you the how to read the page, the browsing page. So here you can see that in which folder you are in. So you are in the CUHK Research Data Repository folder, and here you can see you are in the nursing folder. And for this is the faculty folder of medicine. Okay, and after that, under the Research Data Repository folder, we have a series of the 8 faculty plus research units and other units under listed here, the featured subfolders. So under faculty, you have all the departmental folder listed here. So you can find the departmental folder easily. And under this folder, you can see all the data sets and folders inside it. Okay, so these are folders. Orange are folders and blue are data sets. So you can see all the data and folders under Faculty of Medicine on this page. And for the CUHK Research Data Repository, the main landing page, you can see all the things under CUHK, all the things under CUHK on this page. And we have some facts here. You can search only some department or so on and so forth. And here on the top, you can see here is a path. With this path, you can see that which folder you are in. So you are on, this is under Faculty of Arts, and we have Chinese under it, and we have a Research Center folder, for example. And further than that, you will see the data sets. If it is the data sets, then it will go to the data sets. It tells you this is the data sets page. Okay. And for the data sets page, it is like this. Some two things I would like to mention is, first of all, for each data set that is deposited in the data repository, even it is not yet published to the public, we have reserved a DOI for you. So you can use this DOI for your manuscript preparation. Okay. And when you publish this data set, this DOI will be active before you publish the data set. So while it is still unpublished, the data set is still unpublished, this DOI is not yet active. So even with the DOI, others cannot go to your datasets page to download your data file, even if you have not published the dataset. So this is to protect your work. And here you can see the lower part are the data files. You can see that for some Excel, we will automatically transform it to tab TAB. So it can be support preview of the data set. And for the first time logged in, you can go to the right top corner of the landing page, or even the browsing page is also on the right top corner. Then if it is your first time logged in, you have to, if you are a research and teaching staff, then you have to get a one-time code. This is to verify your account in order to grant you right. So get a one-time code, and it will send you an email via your email account, a 6-digit code. Then you put it and check this box, and you can create your own account. It is the first time for teaching and research staff to get your rights to the reports, to your data departmental folder. Okay. So when you go into the data repository, after logging into your account, you can mouse over, get the pull-down menu, and if you get my data, then you can see that which folder you have rights to work in. For example, this Professor Zheng Gaming, he is from anthropology. You can see that this anthropology folder is already published by our team. So this is maintained by us. But for Professor Zheng, because he is a faculty member, a research staff in under Department of Anthropology, then he has already been granted rights as a folder creator. You can see that you are not admin of the anthropology, but you are only folder creator because you must create your own personal folder in order to further deposit data. Okay, the concept is you have to create your personal folder under your departmental folder in order to work. So you can further, this is the how you read this. And another thing is if you click account information, so this list will be listed. Why I show this? Because for this account information, you can see the username. Just now, remember, I told you if a project coordinator would like to use help the researcher to maintain or manage the data sets, right? They do not have the rights to work in it, the project coordinator, because they are only admin staff, but not research or teaching staff. So how a professor can grant his project coordinator the rights to work inside the professor's folder? Then first of all, the project coordinator should have at least log in into his account once. Log in into his account to only create an account. Then he can find his username. For example, this is the username of Zheng Gaming. And then back to the supervisor. The supervisor can grant him rights to grant him rights by some steps. I will show in later steps. But at this point, you have to remember this is the point where you can find the username. Okay, the account information is the place that you can find the username of a user. To create your folder, so Professor Zheng Gaming is here under go to Department of Anthropology, and at the right side, you can see click Add Data. When add data, you have to first of all click Add New Folder. Okay, Add New Folder. When you click Add New Folder, then you can further follow some steps, and you will create a folder. Here, I can show you a demo here. So this is my account, my own account. I can have a quick review with you. So when I click here, my name and then my data, it will go to this list, and you can see all my data, whether it is published or unpublished. They are also listed here. Okay, and even I can further create my own my further supported folder. Okay, so this is my data, and this is the account information. This is my name. And on the other hand, I've already created a folder for myself under the CUHK library, and this is my research folder, my own personal folder. With this, you can add folder. Say, I can do some testing now. So I say this is text, my name, and this is research projects, and this is my contact email. For affiliation, you can just leave it. If you type anything for the affiliation, it will be listed after this folder name. Okay, I would like to change the folder name to test Wendy. Today is the 12th March 2024. And I will keep the other thing the same. And I click create folder. And now you can see that under my personal folder, I have created a test Wendy 12th March folder. And in this folder, it is unpublished. With this folder, I can further deposit data. So I can create a new data set. And again, test data sets. This is my name. And we will strongly encourage you to add in your information to identify yourself, especially if you have an ORCID. So you can add your ORCID, click ORCID here and list your ORCID. So it is a way to identify yourself. If you, for this data set, now I'm creating a data set. If you have an additional author or co-author for your data, you can click plus here. So you can add more researchers here. For example, this is myself, and I'll add my colleague Joe Chen here, and content to be myself, and test description. And the subjects, it is based on chemistry, for example. And then I can also list the related publication. For this part, remember, if you list your related publication, for example, a journal article or a book or even a website, you can put the citation here. We for some not formatted ones, we will change, we will massage the layout sometime after you deposit and publish it, because we would like to maintain a high profile of our data repository. So if for some unstructured things typed here, we will change it to APA format. So it's up to you to use Chicago, APA, or MLA, or whatever formats, but you can type the whole thing, including the link, the DOI to your publication, including the link to your publication. So on the dataset page, the link will appear, and it from your dataset page, it can link to your manuscript and your journal article, and it will increase your visibility. Okay, increase your research impact and visibility. We are not collecting article here. We are not. We are only getting the citation. I can show you in a while. Here, for now, I will not work on it. And here you can drag a file into it. For example, I will put an image into it. So when you have a large file, remember to wait until the blue bar disappears. Wait until the blue bar disappears. Otherwise, your file is not completed. So this is also a large file, so it takes a while. You can also upload your files from Dropbox as well as from GitHub. Okay, we have guide on our library website to how to work this out. This takes a while. Hey, it's good now. You can further, if your data set is your file is under a large data set, and there are many files, you can put the file path. Is it divided into some projects or some folders? You can add the file path as well as the description and save the data set. So this is a data set that I have just created. You can see that I have the DOI reserved for myself. And the data set, this DOI is not yet active because the data set is unpublished. Until one day you publish your data set, this DOI will be active and accessed by all the users in the world. Okay, so you have the file here. And one day when you would like to publish it and think this is ready and I will publish it, you can click publish and he will ask you whether you would like to publish it, and then you can publish it. If you would like to further edit anything, you can do it here. The metadata to get the details, the metadata of the data set. Okay, so this is how you create a data and the data set. And back to the questions just now, I would like to demonstrate this to you. Professor Jerome Hui from Faculty of Life Sciences, he has his folder here. And he has a series of data sets. This is his personal folder. And you can see that from early on, he has the mini-pig genome. And for this mini-pig genome, this information are for the data set, are for this file under here. And just now, we have typed some information, the description, subjects, keywords, and the related publication. So this is the publication, the journal article which is related or based on this data set. So we have typed for him the whole publication here in the format of citation and with the DOI to the journal. So for this, you can see that the link will link to the journal article. Okay, so this link will increase your visibility. Helps. Yes. So having your related publications also listed on the datasets webpage. This is the datasets webpage. It can help other researchers to learn that this dataset is related to this article. And they will go to this article to understand what you have been doing and you have stated in your research statement. Okay, is this clear? So the difference here is we keep the data file. You can see that these are the data files which will not be fully shown on the journal article. You will not show the details of an Excel file in a journal article. But in the research field for now, even for the publisher, they will, through the peer review process, they do not just read through your research statement and your article manuscript, but they may check into the details whether the research statement is correct. They may use the data file here as well as the programming code you share to work again the whole research process to check the integrity of your research results. Okay, this is for the peer review process to check the integrity of your research results. And some publishers has already been asking for that. Okay, this is the data sets part. Checking the integrity is one thing for depositing data in the data repository. Another important issue or purpose of sharing data on a data repository is for data reuse. Okay, another purpose is for data reuse. What is data reuse? To allow other researchers or even the public to use your data for further investigation. Because you use a lot of resources, whether it is monetary resources, human resources, or other resources to produce this data set. If this data set is reused by the others, so the resources that you have been using for creating this data set is more efficiently used. Okay, so with this in mind, that funding agencies are now working to encourage, and maybe a mandatory requirement for researchers to share data after a research project. Okay, is this clear? The purpose of sharing data on a data repository is for checking the integrity and for data reuse. Two main purposes. Of course, there are other benefits of sharing data that I will not go over again. So this is a quick demo of how you create folder and creates data sets. After creating data sets, you can edit the details on a data set. You can further personalize your data sets web page, or so on and so forth. So here with this edit link, you can get a series of features that you can work on. This is how to edit and manage your folder. And this is publishing the folder. Yes. Before you publish your data set, you must publish the folder first. This is the hierarchical structure. That the uppermost level must be published. So the departmental folder published it, the personal folder published it, and then you can publish the data set inside the personal folder. So to publish your folder, and this is creates data sets. I have gone through it. And just now we typed some description text, data sets, and so on and so forth. They are the metadata, the data about the data sets. So metadata are data about data. It should be structured, human and machine readable. When you type it into the form, it is human readable. But when you click save, it will automatically change to machine readable because it will change to JSON formats or other formats. And it is standardized for Dataverse. They have their own standard, like WCORE or DBI. These are not the main concern. But for metadata, it is very important for some citation, for getting citation in the future. Especially you have the DOI reserved for you. You also have allowed further discovery because the data set could be searched through the web page, the data repository, as well as for our data repository, it could be searched through the search engine, and it can be enabled data reuse. And in the data repository, we have a series of metadata templates. The citation templates is a compulsory component. That's what we have just now done, the citation metadata. For the others, you have a choice whether you would like to fill them in. These are the details of the metadata. Here, if you go to here, metadata, I will go back to my page. After depositing, creating this data set, I can further edit the metadata by clicking this point, metadata, and then add and edit metadata. I can go back to this form and change the details and save the changes. So you can keep revising it until one day you will think it is prepared for publication. Okay, it's not just once and off, once and publish, but you can keep it up to date. And back here. These are the contents for different metadata templates. So you can have a look whether you find them useful. And this is readme.test. readme.test is the idea from computer scientists. They create a program but others do not know how to open the program. So computer scientists also, along with their computer programs, they will write the readme.test, telling what is about the program, how to open the file, how to open it. So the same concept is pushed to research data management, that you can put a series of information about your data. Other than the metadata you type on the surface, you can further have a readme.test to tell the details about what are the headers, what are the rows in your Excel file, and so on and so forth. So this is something you may work and attach it to your data sets and deposit to the data. Upload your file, I have just mentioned. And this is upload from Dropbox, this point. And from GitHub, it's a series of steps and some code needed. So just go to this link and you can see how to deposit draw data from GitHub. And for this point, this page, here are a series of file types that we do not accept. We accept most of the files, but do not accept these file types because they are some executable file. That's if someone download them directly, and if they automatically run it, if your file consists some virus, then it will hurt the user's computer. Then we do not accept these files. If you really would like to draw this file into our data repository, you may first of all zip it. So there is one more step for the user to think about whether they would like to open the file. Okay. And the guideline for data preservation, that we do not suggest data compressed data unless you would like to really to draw this file to for sharing. That's you are advised to zip them before uploading them. And for the second part here, checksum, file fixity checksum. Here I would like to show you. When I draw this file into this part, you can see MD5 here. This is the file fixity checksum. That's it tells the content. This series of around 40 characters. It tells the contents of this image. And whether you upload before upload it and on the server and back when you download it, the file should give the same file fixity checksum, the same MD5. If it is, for example, it is a Word file, even if you put a full stop, just a small dot, it adds to the file, or even a space, which is something like empty, but it makes the file different. The file fixity checksum will be different. So that it tells you that the file is distorted if the file fixity checksum is different. So this is the file fixity checksum and published data sets that I've already told you. And then this is one of the important part here for today is I would like to show, emphasize that if you are sharing your data for peer review process, I strongly advise you not to publish it. Keep it unpublished. Keep it unpublished. But while you have to tell your publisher that they can access the data set through a private link. Okay, so you can go to the unpublished data sets page, and on this side, add this data set and click private URL. Then you will get a private URL like this. This is unpublished. data sets that I've just created and added, and private URL creates a private URL. So I copy this and give this link to those I trust. Only give it to those I trust. For example, your peer reviewer, they get it and they can access it. If anyone get this link will get access to your data sets page, and they can have access to all the data files. If you do not wish your data files to be accessed by the public, remember to keep it unpublished, especially during the peer review process. After the peer review process, when your manuscript is ready for publish, then you can click publish datasets, and then they can access your datasets via the DOI, or even or just the URL. But the DOI is a permanent link, okay, forever. Yes. 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 Anyone get the private URL will get your get access to this page. So be sure who you give to, and if you don't want the link to be further transferred to others, yeah, you must tell the peer reviewers not to further transfer the link. And so this is the peer review process, and grants rights to others to work in your folder. Then, for example, you would like to grant rights to your project coordinator to work in it. First of all, the project coordinator have to create an account, and then you click go to your dataset page. Whether it is published or unpublished, it's also fine. Also for folder and data, folder and dataset page, it's also the same thing. Go to edits and click permission. And then here you can see a pop-up page that you can see users or groups, and then add assigned roles to users. Then you can add your users. I can do a quick demo here. For example, I have the data sets here, and I would like to give permission to the data sets to my colleague. I would like to put him admin, so he has the right to publish it, manage it, and all the things, do all the things on it. If you would like him to be the publisher, I should say for admin, he has also the right to grant rights to others. Have the rights to, for admins, they have the rights to grant rights to someone else to further work on the dataset. For publisher, they can publish the dataset, but not grant rights to others. Okay. For editor, they can edit the datasets, but cannot publish it. Okay. So we confine the roles to like this. And if you save changes, so you will see my colleague now has the rights to edit my datasets and publish it, or even give rights to, just now I click editor. So he just can edit it without publication and without giving rights to others. So this is grant right to others, and grant right to others to work on folders. So this is the steps I've just mentioned. And now to another topic. Zheng Gaming is the professor. He can deposit his own datasets after creating his personal folder. For your, if you are a professor, if your student would like to deposit a data, we advise you to create a folder for them. Okay, create a folder under your own personal folder. for example, the student Sunny Song, and you create a folder and grant him the admin rights to this folder, so he can further work in this folder. We do not grant rights to students directly to the department. Okay, this is to have some control of who can work in the department. Otherwise, we'll lose all the control in it, and it will be a mess. So this hierarchical structure is very important for you to understand how you can give rights to your student. They have to work under your personal folder, but they have their own URL, so they can also feature their own profile by themselves. You can also link your data sets to another folder to showcase. For this, for example, if you are under Department of Fine Arts, for example, under Department of Fine Arts, you have created your own folder under Fine Arts, own personal folder under Fine Arts, and deposit your data set under your personal folder. Then, for these data sets, you would like to showcase in, for example, ICS or Arts Museum. Then, what can we do? Here, I would like to show you a quick demo. That's for a published data set. For example, this is my published data set. Then I would like to showcase it in my colleagues folder. Then I can link data sets. Here on the right, you can see link data set. For another folder that you also have rights. Remember, you must have rights in another folder before you link your files to that folder. For example, my colleagues folder is called tabloid newspaper. And I should first of all demonstrate. You can see originally this tabloid newspaper only has 4 data sets. Okay, 4. This is my colleagues folder with 4 data sets. After I link my data sets, this is uncovering the historical sketches. I click Save Linked Data. And I refresh this page. You can see that my data set is immediately shown on his folder. So if you are from Fine Arts and you would like to demonstrate your work also in Arts Museum's folder, then you can first of all deposit your data inside the Fine Arts Department folder, and then link your data set into the Arts Museum folder. When something is linked to this external folder, there is this logo. This means it is not physically stored inside this folder, but it is linked to this folder. It is useful for you if you have different association with different department or research institutes inside the university. And it is also useful for you to work with your collaborators. Okay, if you have co-authors from CUHK, or and they also have their own personal folder here on our profile, they can link the data sets in. You can link the data sets into their profile, into their folder. Then they can have the data sets also shown on their personal folder too. So this can show a full feature of the whole research output. So this is link your data. So here are the steps. And finally, I think this is the final thing. create your guestbook. Back to my data, my published data. I can edit it and create a guestbook. How can I get it? Should be under terms. Under terms, you can create guestbook, and here is the default one. You can check it and click Save Changes. If you would like to customize your guestbook, for example, you would like to who comes in for work purpose and for some very specific questions, why do you get this protein data? Or what do you want me to collaborate with you, or some kind of those questions? Under your personal folder, this is one of the reasons that we strongly encourage you to create your own folder, because under your personal folder, you can also create your guestbook, dataset guestbook. And then you can create your own dataset guestbook. And here you can set new questions. And single only or multiple choice, you can set your data for folder. You can set up your own guestbook. Only set up your guestbook under the folder. Then for the data set, you can choose your own guestbook for people who use your data sets to answer some questions before they can download your data. Okay. Other than that, terms of use, and this is terms of use. Back to my data, and back to my data sets. Here, terms. You can see that the originally defined license is CC BY NC, as I mentioned earlier on. You can, if you want it to be CC BY or CC BY NC and something else, SA, for example, share alike, then you can also change it here through this page. So here you can customize your own terms. So you save the changes and you can change the terms. And the metadata people see will under this license. Okay. So this is the terms of use that you can change. This are some of the features that I would like to introduce today, but there are more steps and some other more features here shown on our library webpage called Library Guide. So you can see the steps to how to deposit data, how to manage your folder or data sets, or for peer reviewing, and so on and so forth. We also have FAQ for staff and teaching staff and students, administrative staff, or something else. Okay, just browse through our webpage and see what questions you have. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us through our email, data@chuhk.edu.hk. That will be easy to remember, data@chuhk. Okay, so this is our library webpage, and these are some services we provide. And this is our second event on during the Research Data Management Week. Please feel free to join our other events in the coming 3 days. And here is an evaluation form. If you, it would be great if you can fill in the evaluation form for us. If you have any questions, feel free to send us email anytime, and we will get back to you as we can. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for those who are online to join us today. Thanks.